This is The Flower of Freedom by Deborah J. Reeves. We're on chapter 39, and all rights to the book and to the presentation are reserved. Please take your seat, make yourself comfortable. We welcome your good heart and you, and we're glad you left your burdens outside the door. You deserve some time of rest and relaxation, and we hope that we can help you find it. Here we go. Chapter 39, New Year's in Paris. The tenacious private investigator in Canada just would not leave it alone. He reported anomalies on my niece's death certificate and on the adoption papers. He just kept reporting each new discovery. I felt as though your parents had stolen my hope of redemption from me, so I would not be denied. Paulette tried to make me see reason. She really did. She reminded me that we had our settled life and that the child had her life. I still wanted to make things right with Claire. So now you know what a weak and despicable man I truly am. All I can say is that I loved your grandmother. I do not see you as any sort of substitute. Rather, I see you as an opportunity to love purely in this lifetime. If you wish to never see me again, I will understand. Marie had sat listening attentively. She had heard every word. She felt every emotion that the man felt, and she rose and went to him and said, "You are my own true uncle. I love you back." He looked up at her with unadulterated shock, and then he put his face into his hands, and a little sob escaped his throat. That was all the old conditioning allowed him, for he could not pour out a lifetime of grief. He tried to get up and run away, but she held him tightly until he relaxed. When he dropped his hands from his face, Marie handed him a tissue and smiled. "I think it's rude to be too fashionably late, don't you?" she said, and it made him smile. He left the room to change, and he came back 10 minutes later in a tuxedo. He called for the car. She was wearing her grandmother's emeralds. In the town car on the way to the party, Marie reached out and held Aki's hand. For a few moments, she looked at him and she said, "You don't clean up so badly, you know. In fact, you look quite handsome." "Away with you, silly girl," he responded. "I know when I'm being flattered." When Francois Gagnon opened the door to his home to them, he smiled and proclaimed, "Well, I'll be. Josette told me that you might come, but I confess that I'm delightfully surprised. I'm so pleased that you came, Aki. Who is this lovely creature with you?" Stepping in, Uncle Aki said, "This ravishing young lady is my niece Marie Claire. In fact, she is my grandniece, but I conveniently dropped the grand part to preserve my own ego. It's nice to see you too, Francois. It was very good of you and your wife to invite us." The hostess came to the door then and took Marie's hand in her own. After taking her cape from her shoulders, she led Marie to the living room, and she did not wait for the men, who were still talking business by the door. Never mind waiting for them. Once they get onto the topic of finance, they will be stuck like glue to that spot until someone dislodges them. Come with me. We'll try to make sure this evening is fun for you as well. I want to introduce you to my son and his friends and get you something to drink." There in the living room stood Michaud, Philippe, and Joseph. Marie could hardly believe her eyes. The young men were dressed formally, but their attitude was not formal. They rushed forward, and Michaud said, "You're back! When did you get back? My mother told me that someone was bringing his niece to the party. I never imagined that it would be you, Marie." Madame Gagnon smiled when she realized that she had scored a hit with her son and his friends. And why not, she thought. The girl is simply lovely. She could not be more lovely. I hope that awful woman Aki married did not rub off on her. But it was evident, even on this short acquaintance, that Marie was nothing like Paulette. Philippe wanted to know how Bertie was. He's just the way he always was, except he's even more full of himself now that he knows he's going skiing in Switzerland. He's teasing all his friends. Does everyone know about your dreams, or should I speak to you about it later? She asked in a quiet voice. Oh, it's no secret. I can hardly stop waiting for the mail. How cold does it actually get in Montreal? Let me tell you, Philippe, I just got back and even I had forgotten how cold it is there. Nothing you can buy here in France will cover it, unless you go to a store with mountain climbing gear. If I were you, I would wait until you get to Montreal in September, and then buy the absolute warmest coat and gloves you can find. Do not think for one moment of fashion. Warmth is the only thing that matters. Oh, and don't forget boots. Don't look so horrified. Bertie and I survived it, and so will you. Michaud and Joseph were in stitches of laughter. Philippe the popsicle! Philippe the snowman, they pointed. That is, if they accept me. Philippe scowled. No false modesty from you, Philippe. McGill will be only too lucky to get you. Of course they'll accept you. I would hate to see Bertie storm the admissions department if they didn't. He would, wouldn't he? Laughed Michaud, and Marie just nodded. Bertie has his heart set on Philippe as a roommate. I must warn you, though, Philippe. He snores when he gets overtired. But he is a great roommate. I should know, too. We shared the same room for years. My parents had to blackmail him to separate us. We just wouldn't be parted, no matter what our parents promised until then. Bertie's counting on you. Our parents think it is ridiculous for him to live in the dorm when they live half an hour away from campus. At least you'll never go hungry. Our mother is a great cook, and she'll expect you for dinner every week, maybe twice a week, she amended. That solves one of my worries, Philippe told her. I was afraid that I would miss my mother's cooking. Even if they don't cook exactly the same things, it will be nice to get some home-cooked meals. I'm skinny enough already, so I don't want to miss too many meals. Michaud began to make suggestions of calorie-heavy meals for Philippe. Philippe asked Marie if they had those in Montreal. She assured him that Montreal had a lot of people from all different places around the world. If there was ever a place that is truly a melting pot, it's Montreal. Philippe, you'll be fine. No matter what kind of food you like, someone will make it for you. The evening started out well, and it continued in an upward trajectory. Soon they were called to the table, where a fabulous meal was served, to a warm and friendly table of 18 friends, guests and family members. The main course was lobster thermidor, and Marie had never tasted better. It was luscious. That's the end of this chapter, chapter 39. Please come and see us again. It's never the same without you, and I mean that sincerely. Your friend, Deborah Reeves.